So the big question a lot of people seem to be asking is right now the best time to invest in Chainlink?
Yeah, that's definitely a hot topic, especially with everything going on in crypto and, well, Chainlink itself being so active.
Exactly. And, for anyone just seeing it as another crypto ticker, it's important to grasp that Chainlink is, well, it's different. It's more like core infrastructure, right? Solving that whole Oracle problem.
Precisely. Blockchains are great, but they're kind of isolated. They can't easily or reliably get data from the outside world. Chainlink is that bridge.
The bridge, I like that. And it's a bridge that's seen, what, over 150% growth in the last year? That certainly catches your eye.
Oh, absolutely. That kind of move suggests the market is really starting to recognize its role.
Right. So that's what we're doing today, a real deep dive. We want to look at Chainlink as an investment, like, right now. We'll dig into the tech, the partnerships, challenges too, and what analysts are saying. We've got plenty to cover.
Sounds good.
Okay, so first things first. For maybe listeners who aren't deep in the weeds, what is Chainlink fundamentally? Why does it matter?
Okay, so at its heart, Chainlink is a decentralized network, a network of oracles. And an oracle here isn't, mythical. It's just something that provides information. Chainlink's oracles securely feed real-world data into blockchains. Smart contracts need to actually work properly.
So it's not like Bitcoin for payments or Ethereum as just a platform. Its job is different.
Totally different focus. It's not trying to be money. Its job is providing a service-verified external data. Price feeds for finance, weather data, election results, basically anything outside the blockchain itself.
Got it. So I heard this analogy. If blockchain is like this new kind of internet, is Chainlink sort of the Wi-Fi signal connecting it to the real world? Does that track?
That's actually a really good analogy. Yeah. Without that connection, this new internet would be pretty limited in what it could actually do in the real world. Chainlink gives it that vital link.
And it's not some small niche thing, is it? The numbers I've seen are pretty big.
No, definitely not small scale. Chainlink currently secures billions of dollars in value. Think DeFi platforms, insurance protocols, even NFTs that change based on real-time info.
Billions. Wow. That's a lot of writing on this tech. And major blockchains use it.
Oh, yeah. The big ones. Ethereum, Solana. They rely heavily on Chainlink oracles for their smart contracts to function correctly with outside data. It's become pretty foundational.
Okay, foundational layer connects blockchains to the real world, secures billions. Understood. So let's pivot back to the main question. Why might now be a good time to look at investing? What's the bull case right now?
Well, like you said, that 150% growth in the past year is a big one.
Yeah.
It shows strong momentum, growing belief in its value.
Hard to ignore, yeah. And I keep hearing about CCIP. What is that, and why is it a big deal?
Right, CCIP, that's the cross-chain interoperability protocol. Think of it like a universal translator and secure bridge between different blockchains. It lets you securely send data and tokens across chains that normally couldn't talk to each other. This opens up huge possibilities, like cross-chain DeFi using assets on one chain in an app on another, or NFTs that can exist across multiple chains.
So it's like breaking down the silos between blockchains, making everything more connected.
Exactly. It's a huge step towards a more unified, useful blockchain ecosystem.
Yeah.
But that's not all. The partnerships are also a really big part of the bull case right now. We're talking major traditional players.
Yeah, I saw Swift mention the global banking network. That sounds massive.
It is massive. Swift connects, thousands of banks? They've been piloting Chainlink for cross-border payments. They've got the DTCC, the big U.S. clearinghouse, and ANZ Bank in Australia exploring tokenized assets on Ethereum using Chainlink. Even Google Cloud is running Chainlink nodes.
Wow, okay. These aren't just crypto startups. These are the establishment, basically. What's the implication there for Chainlink's value, potentially?
The potential is immense. Trillions of dollars in traditional assets could eventually move on to blockchains. Having these giants actively testing and integrating Chainlink, it's a huge validation. Signals massive potential growth down the line.
Okay, so cross-chain tech, big institutional partnerships. What else is feeding this bullish view right now? I've heard about staking.
Yes, staking v0.2, it's an upgrade to how people can lock up their LNK tokens to help secure the network.
And what are the benefits there?
Several things. It boosts network security. It helps decentralization as more people participate. And crucially for investors, you get rewards for staking your link. We're seeing yields somewhere in the 5 to 8% range annually, potentially. And people have noticed over $2 billion worth of Link is already staked.
$2 billion locked up, that takes a chunk out of circulation, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Less available supply, potentially more demand.
Yeah.
You know how that can affect price. It encourages holding long term. And this ties right into that real-world asset tokenization trend we mentioned.
Ah, okay, connect those dots for me. How does Chainlink's data role fit with banks putting assets on chain, and why is that relevant now?
Well, when institutions put stocks or bonds or whatever onto a blockchain, they need super reliable real-time data feeds for those assets' value and performance. Chainlink provides that. Think about someone like BlackRock exploring this stuff. They need that trusted, tamper-proof data to make tokenized assets work on-chain. Chainlink is the go-to for that critical piece.
So Chainlink is basically enabling this whole multi-trillion-dollar shift by providing the essential data layer.
That's the argument, yes. And it's not just finance. AI is another interesting angle.
AI? How does AI connect to Chainlink's investment case now? Seems like a leap.
Well, think about it. AI needs tons of data. If you have AI interacting with blockchains or making decisions based on real-world events that need to be reflected on-chain, what does it get that data reliably?
Ah, okay. Chainlink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you see things like the Google Cloud collaboration touching on this.
Right.
As AI and blockchain get more integrated, the need for Chainlink's verified data just grows.
It's actually a really interesting point. And what about regulation? I've heard some say Chainlink might have an easier time than other cryptos. Is that realistic?
The thinking is, because Chainlink is about data verification and not directly handling money like a payment coin, it might fly under the radar a bit more, regulation-wise. Its role as infrastructure might be seen differently. It's not facilitating the transaction itself, just providing the data for it. It's still uncertain, of course, but it's a potential advantage.
Okay, so important infrastructure, institutional adoption, potential AI tailwinds, maybe less regulatory heat. That paints a pretty strong picture. What are analysts saying price-wise? Any targets floating around?
Yeah, you do see some projections out there. In the next bull run, some analysts are talking $50, maybe even $100 per LANK. But, that depends on Chainlink really becoming the standard oracle and the whole market cooperating.
Big numbers. But I've also heard this idea that Chainlink might actually be undervalued right now. Why would people say that?
Well, you compare its market cap to the sheer value it secures. You mentioned billions, some say trillions in transaction volume relies on it. Yet its market cap is way lower than some, let's say, less fundamentally critical cryptos.
Like meme coins, maybe?
Or even some individual DeFi apps, yeah. Plus, look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. They've hit new all-time highs. Chainlink is still quite a bit below its peak. So the argument is there's potentially a lot of catching up to do as the market figures out its real importance.
That relative performance is definitely something to think about. And this smart money idea, institutions buying in.
Right. You see growth in things like the Grayscale Elling Trust, more VC money flowing into projects using Chainlink. It suggests the more sophisticated investors are seeing the long-term potential and maybe think now is a good entry point. And one last thing on the bull side developer activity. Chainlink consistently has way more developers working on it compared to competitors. That's usually a good sign for future innovation and growth.
Okay, that's a lot of positives. A really compelling bull case for considering Chainlink now. But we need balance. What are the risks, the potential downsides investors need to weigh right now?
Absolutely crucial to look at the other side. First, competition is heating up. Chainlink's the leader, sure, but you've got BAM protocol, API3, DIA. Others are pushing hard, trying different approaches, maybe lower fees for some things.
So its dominance isn't guaranteed.
Definitely not. They need to keep innovating. Then there's the centralization concern. Some critics point out that the Chainlink Foundation and early backers hold a lot of LNK tokens.
Right. Potential market influence.
That's the worry. Also, Chainlink Labs itself runs a significant chunk of the nodes. Even if it operates decentrally day-to-day, that concentration of control is something people watch.
Fair point. What about adoption timelines? These big partnerships sound great, but when do they actually translate to real value for LNK?
That's a big unknown. Enterprise integration takes time, it's complex, and, the crypto market loves hype. Attention can shift quickly to the next shiny object, even if Chainlink's fundamentals are solid.
True. And we talked about tokenomics as a positive with staking, but are there any lingering concerns there?
Well, historically, there have been concerns about scheduled token unlocks or tokens used for incentives creating sell pressure. Staking helps offset that by locking up supply, but it's still a dynamic investors need to be aware of. Volatility can be influenced by supply changes.
Okay. And regulation, again, even if it's less direct, it's still a risk.
For sure. The whole crypto space is under a regulatory microscope. Any broad crackdowns or new rules could impact Chainlink, especially as it gets more intertwined with traditional finance. Uncertainty is just part of the game right now.
And the biggest risk for any crypto, maybe, market volatility.
Absolutely. Can't forget that. LNK is still a crypto asset. If Bitcoin tanks, LNK is almost certainly going down with it. You could see, hypothetically, a 60% drop or more in a bad market crash. That's just the reality of this asset class.
Okay. Phew. So we've got the strong bull case, the tech, the partnerships, the potential undervaluation, and we've got the real risks competition, centralization worries, timelines, market swings. Let's try to synthesize this. Back to the core question. Does it look like now is the prime time?
When you put it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a solid argument for a positive outlook right now. You've got CCIP enabling new things, major institutions getting involved, staking reducing supply. Combine that with maybe a new bull cycle in 2025, more institutional DeFi, AI needing data. It points towards growth.
And Chainlink isn't just writing these trends, you're saying?
Right. It's actively building the infrastructure that makes those trends possible. That's a key difference. But you have to weigh those risks we just discussed. Competition, centralization questions, adoption speed, market crashes.
Yeah.
They're all real possibilities. What about price predictions then, considering all this? Are they all over the place?
They vary, as you'd expect. Some see maybe $18 by late 2025. Others are more bullish, looking towards previous highs or beyond. Long-term, like 2030, if adoption really takes off, you hear numbers like $30, $50, maybe higher. But it's all speculation, obviously.
So no guarantees, but the fundamental story seems strong, and maybe the current price doesn't fully reflect that yet.
That's a fair summary of the bullish perspective, yeah. The current price could be seen as low relative to its role and the big names getting involved.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We've covered a ton. Key takeaways for someone grappling with that is now the time question.
Okay, key points. 1, Chainlink is vital infrastructure, the data layer for smart contracts. 2, there's real growth potential from CCIP, those big partnerships, staking, and broader trends like DeFi and AI. 3, there's significant risks. Competition, centralization concerns, market volatility are the big ones.
Right. So we've laid out the arguments, the pros, the cons, but we're absolutely not saying yes, buy now, or no, stay away.
Definitely not. This isn't financial advice. Our goal was to unpack the situation based on the info out there. The decision to invest or not is entirely up to you, the listener. It depends on your own risk tolerance, your goals, and please do your own research.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought for you to chew on as you do that research. Consider Chainlink's position. It's this fundamental, perhaps undervalued piece of infrastructure for what could be the next phase of the internet, Web3. Contrast its importance with its current market cap and ask yourself, could we be seeing the quiet rise of a really major crypto asset here? Something to think about.
It's definitely the core question. Is the market fully appreciating its foundational role, both now and in the future?
So dig deeper, weigh it all up, stay informed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive on Chainlink.